Hey, how are you? Okay, just going to sort of show you some stuff I managed to sort of score today. First thing, excuse me, is beautiful pair of old, we believe, say about mid 60s or so, Paiste Formula 602 hi-hats, 15-inch in diameter, same size as this ride crash that I've got over here. And the guy who I was buying this off from also had a pair of these. They're a discontinued lot as well. The Paiste Noiseworks fast hi-hat, which I wanted that for like another one of my kits. Basically got this very, very thin cymbal up on top, sorry, on the bottom. Sounds pretty trashy by itself. I believe this is some sort of, could be a B12 type of alloy, and this is just clearly, as you can see, it's just brass sort of thing. That is the top cymbal, believe it or not, and it's got that kind of sort of sound. I think if you play around this way, get that. Anyway, had that sort of sitting a little loose. I'll have that on a completely different sort of set. But what I wanted to show you was these. Now, what you're seeing here, this hat's, this crash ride, 15-inch crash ride, and this 22-inch riveted ride. Okay, and the story with these, picked these up today. Got this, probably would have been about roughly about 2 years ago or so, and I scored that riveted ride last year, and it's just been a really a case of happy coincidences happening. This was for $100, this little vintage cymbal. The guy who I was buying it from, he was like an old retired jazz drummer. I said, "You sure you don't want to sort of have more money for this?" He said, no. Pay 100 and be glad. And yeah, you could sort of see he was going with a good home, of course. So I had this, and I was using this on the cocktail kit for a little while, because it's like a ride crash. Not so good with, say, like sticks, but certainly really much better with, say, brushes and rods and all that sort of thing. Then, a mate of mine, George, was getting rid of this riveted ride that he got from the States, and a Paiste signature flat ride. I've been after a flat ride for years for sort of playing jazz and so forth. But he did me a great deal. Those two cymbals, the flat ride, modern flat ride, and this old riveted ride. Again, this is like a 1960s vintage or so. For the two of them, $200. Can you believe that? Absolutely fantastic. So I had these two cymbals, and I was sort of thinking, oh well, it'll be impossible for me to find hi-hats, right? Okay. This has a really nice little bell to it. So just, a nice cutting sort of bell that you hear with Paiste cymbals, which is why I like them. And that's what Paul, who was this guy that I bought the hi-hats from, was sort of saying that that's the thing that he loves about with Paiste as soon as they bells. We had a good sort of talk of all sorts of things. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to sort of just play the sound of these hi-hats here. It's about 1100 gram weight bottom cymbal. The story is, this is the original pair of a hi-hat, and he came across this. I think he said it was topped up with an old Tosco or Ufit hi-hat, which was a little smaller. That's why it's got all of these like little marks around here. I don't know if you can see that or not. And it was like quite a while later that he found this as a top cymbal. And yeah, so the two of these together, incidentally, $500 for both that and the trash hats. Fantastic deal. He could have asked about at least 700 for just these hi-hats alone. I mean, these are really great little vintage sort of pair. Anyway, so the sound of these on themselves. Okay, just going to excuse me because I'm a little out of practice with doing jazz drumming. You know, to try to sort of teach all the straight aheads and stuff. But yeah, you know. You know, that kind of thing. You know, you couple it with it. There's a bit of reach here with that floor tom. It sounds too much like a basketball. I wanted to go for a high tuning for this sort of set. This is a Ludwig Epic, a little unmuffled, and there's no muffling anywhere on that. Bass drum, really high, highly tuned sort of snare drum. This is 13-inch diameter. And two high-pitched sort of toms. Sort of thinking it's like any of the kind of Max Roach sort of approach to tuning. Alright, so that's the sound of that pair. But I'm really curious as to what this would sound like if all of a sudden I take, because of the fact that these are all 15-inch, maybe I could swap around. And talking with Paul, because Paul's he's jazz drumming for a long period of time. It's quite true. In the old days, like we go to a drum shop and you go in and they'll say, here's a ride, here's a crash. You know, it's all stamped on the cymbals. In the old days, they never really did that. You know, I don't think they really sort of started doing that sort of thing until probably like 1970s or so. Because I got an old set of Black Labels 2002s, and there's no such thing on it as like saying like thin crash or anything like that, as far as I know on them. I think they were just all labelled as crash, ride, hi-hat, and so forth. Anyway, let's see what that bottom cymbal sounds like when teamed up with that ride crash. And I don't think Paul was really keen on the idea because it didn't sort of sound so cool to him. But you know, I mean, like, look, we're all different people. What sounds good for, say, someone. So what he was sort of thinking was that ride crash being teamed up with this. To him, it sounded really cool. But I just want to sort of see what this is like as a crash. Of course, a garage is not exactly the best environment to sort of judge sounds, but yeah, what have we got? The way I can kind of describe it with the stick, it sort of seems like it has a little give to it. You know, some people sort of say, oh, Paiste cymbals are all a bit brittle and all that sort of stuff. Man, you know, like, I mean, like, look, top cymbal of this trash hats proves this. You call that brittle? There's no way in the world. Look, I mean, I can play that with my hand, you know. And actually, that would be really good for a part of a hand percussion sort of setup. So, great little idea there. Anyway, so let's see what these are now like as a pair of hi-hats with the ride crash being up the top. And what you got here, incidentally, it's a kind of a scalloped edge sound wave sort of cymbal. Let me just bring this out here. Right. Which is why you've got all these markings over here. And yeah, right there on the edge, you know, it's not as pronounced as what you've got with like later Paiste sound edges, but yeah, this will definitely be a very early example of that kind of idea. I believe the 602s, the old Formula 602s, were designed in conjunction with Joe Morello. I remember sort of reading about the Formula 602 sound set for Morello. Yeah, that would be a very interesting sort of set to play. It's a very historical sort of set. Okay, so anyway, let's see. Let's adjust this hi-hat a bit. I've just gone for all the little thin stands that I've got. These like little thin stands have all come from an old Pearl wood fiberglass kit that I managed to get my hands on. I'll have to sort of give that a bit of a sound demo sometime. This is an old, very thin sort of Tama hi-hat, about maybe an 80s sort of vintage. I'm using a Tama snare stand to hold that up. Normally I'd put this on a tom holder and so forth, I haven't worried about that. And really, the only two modern concessions, well, apart from the fact that this is a Ludwig Epic sort of set, but hardware-wise, would be this Pearl snare stand and this Tama seat. Even the pedal, it's an old Pearl, 70s Pearl sort of pedal. Anyway, so let's see how we go. So yeah, they don't sound too bad at all. This is like hi-hat combination. That's a nice little bright, as Pisces tend to be, but there's a sort of more warmth to it as well. Let's see what we like with the difference of the period. That sort of sound, and then the brushes, which is why Rooted Ride's really good. So that sort of chick with the hi-hat. I won't embarrass myself. Oh man, I haven't done sort of exercises like that for a long time now. Oh, actually, let's sort of see what it sort of sounds like with a bossa. maybe I might have redeemed myself with that. Okay, so yeah, so that's a little introduction to the old Paiste 602s. I know there's like a lot of people that will sort of like the Zildjians and so forth, and for them to sort of say score K Zildjians, especially the K Zildjians from Turkey, would be a bit like the ultimate goal for them. For me, though, today, I've become a very happy sort of guy. That's for sure. Yeah, so I'm now itching to sort of play with these sort of things for like a little while to sort of see how things turn out. But yeah, this is now a nice little complete Formula 602 sort of set. There's no way in the world I'll be sort of playing them in a rock sort of band sort of thing. I don't want to risk cracking these beauties anyway. I want to sort of hold on to them as long as I possibly can. Anyway, so thanks for putting up with me, and I will see you guys later. See ya.